What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today by Anthony Vigliotti. Anthony is from Soft. How are you, Anthony?
I'm doing well, Andy. How are you?
I am great. And, funny, we just put this together. We probably could have done an in-person interview, but you're right down the road for me. You are up in just outside of Rochester, New York, as I am as well, enjoying this incredibly, nice sunny day that we have. I'm glad it's finally our time of the year here, right?
That is correct. It's beautiful.
And so let's just jump right into it. We've got you on the show today. We want to talk about Soft and some great news that you had. Just let's start off with a little background for those that don't know who Soft. Why don't you fill us in, and then tell us about what you do there and what your role is.
Sure. So my name is Anthony Vigliotti. I am the Vice President of Product Marketing at Soft. Soft has been around the block for many years, 20 plus years in the print management industry. Partnered with some of the most major OEM partners out there. So if it's been a trend in print management and scanning, Soft has certainly taken part. We continue to iterate not only in our print management portfolio, but some of the hardware components that we'll talk about certainly during this interview as well. We pride ourselves not only in the software development, but manufacturing and distributing our own hardware, such as card readers and edge devices, which we'll touch on throughout this conversation, I'm sure. But thank you for your time today, and we can jump right into the report if that helps.
Yeah, it's great seeing you. I've been working with Soft and covering them for many years. I did get to come out and get the tour of the Soft offices in well, it's not in it's in the Czech Republic. It's not in Prague. It's in
Brno.
It's in Brno. You pronounce it Bruno, B-R-U-N-O.
Yeah. B-R-N-O. Yes.
B-R-N-O. Just a beautiful little village outside of maybe an hour or two outside of Prague. And one of the things I remember from that visit that was great, and we've interviewed Vaclav about it a couple of times, is you guys are very supportive of the local university that's there, and you have a think tank essentially, really. And that's not what we're here to talk about, but I was struck by that. You guys are. I know you from print management. I know you from some of the other things that you mentioned as well. And I saw your manufacturing there, which was really cool. But to see this, they actually had a robotics lab where they were building robots to do, some of the testing that you guys do through your management services and your QA to make sure that everything works. And these students essentially built these robots to just make it easier. And nobody at Soft had thought of that. But these kids come in and, they start buying components, and it was just wild walking in there and just seeing all these. I mean, they were animated, they were moving and, hitting copier devices and just, mimicking human motions of making copies and things like this. So just really interesting stuff that you guys do. We're here to talk today. You got some recognition. You were recently, you participated, or you were mentioned in a report by Quocirca. Quocirca is a very well-known, a very well-recognized research company with a strong focus on management services. So, for them to mention, for you to be mentioned in their report, I think, is a really good thing for your credibility, right? And goes to show that you're on the radar of some companies that watch this. You're well known, I know, in enterprise. So why don't we why don't let you guys talk about the report, the recognition you received, and then you've got an excerpt that's available for people that they can actually read some of this. So tell us about the report and what did it say about you guys?
Yeah, let me just touch on a little bit of what you said about what you've seen in your time in our location in Brno. So we do give back to the community quite a bit. Soft as a company actually started as a university project. So the two co-founders actually were two college roommates that ultimately decided this idea was great 20 plus years ago, and it's grown into what it is today. But they absolutely give back to that university and others as well in the Czech Republic region. We have this organization called Soft Ventures,
Yes.
which is actually looking for this particular talent, both out of university and just local Czech Republic companies. And we incubate these companies, not for our benefit, but for their benefit, just to lend a hand, to give back to the world. So we help them with executive support, marketing support, sales support. We even do some of their manufacturing for them. So it's a lot of synergistic relationship between them, but it's really born out of just giving back to the great progress that Václav and Martini, the two co-founders of the company, have witnessed throughout their history in the Czech Republic region and beyond. We now have locations worldwide. So I'm a Wysoft North America affiliate. So we have offices in Grapevine, Texas as well, and in the Asia Pacific region and various offices throughout Europe. But to the report around Quocirca. So we did have the opportunity to participate in that report. They did tremendous work in investigating our particular set of capabilities. And one of the things that you mentioned was enterprise. And it is true that Wysoft is born and raised in the enterprise, serving some of the largest customers in the world and doing so for decades on end. But the world is changing, as you know, as we move to cloud, zero trust, edge devices. So you really need to start innovating more now than ever, in my opinion. So one of the things that the Quocirca report really does do is deep dive into how Wysoft is evolving with this new set of capabilities and new set of requirements that not only large enterprise customers have, but even the smallest of small customers, we call them micro customers, have similar but different set of requirements that we certainly need to take care of and plan for and build to. So, I mean, that's a little bit about where the report covers, all the way from our journey from small, medium business through a large enterprise with native cloud in mind.
So it's, one of the things I think that makes you guys somewhat unique is, this hybrid approach that you have, right? So it's going to be cloud eventually. Everyone, for the most part, the expectation is most of the customers, if not all, but probably most, will want cloud, but we're not there yet, right? So there's this middle ground now, and you guys, I think it was last year, came out with the Omni Bridge program. It's a hardware platform that plugs in and allows you to bring some of these devices, it allows you to play with the cloud in the cloud with devices that previously would have not been, right? So it was that part of this Quocirca, was that part of why you were recognized in there, or was it strictly a cloud report? Like, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so you'll find that many companies have cloud requirements, but not all cloud requirements are the same. So Wysoft, we tend to pride ourselves saying cloud first, but not cloud only. So in our development and in our planning, we make certain we're covering all aspects of what we believe cloud requirements to be. And I'll give you some examples here. We have pure cloud technology. So this is for the set of customers that wants no infrastructure, zero on site. So this requires that we not only have a native cloud solution that lives in the cloud somewhere, but we're also able to communicate from the cloud directly to these multifunction devices and printers without any hardware, without any software on site. There's no edge mesh technology or anything like that. So this requires a new set of terminals. We call them terminals. These are the embedded user interfaces that appear on the multifunction devices to be built in such a way with zero trust that they can communicate from the customer's environment to the cloud. All right, so that's one side of the equation. Then you have some customers that are, well, I really don't want my print payload leaving the environment. In pure cloud, the print payload will leave the environment. Or I have a remote office with limited bandwidth. So how do you serve or authenticate users with limited bandwidth without affecting the user experience? And there's various other examples of this. So for that reason, we built hardware called the Omni Bridge. That was what you just mentioned.
Yes.
And on this Omni Bridge device, it's an edge technology, which takes not all the elements of cloud, but only those elements that are required to satisfy those two problems that I just mentioned. One is serving the terminals locally, so they're not being served from the cloud. So that limits, stops the bandwidth issue. The second is the print payload doesn't leave the environment. The print payload hits to that edge device, it's processed on that edge device. The metadata and the print rules and routing all are offered up in the cloud, but the print job itself is routed to that edge device alone. So that solves any customer's concern about print payload leaving their environment. Now, on top of that edge device, you may have customers that say, well, I really don't want hardware in my location at all. Do you offer this edge technology without the need for the hardware device? And we call that the virtual appliance. So you take that same edge concept without the edge hardware, and you load this software on any location within your company's firewall. It could be, in your private cloud, it could be in a virtual machine, it could be in a local server or desktop that you may have, but it serves the same purpose I just mentioned as that edge device.
Now,
okay,
just real quick, is this strictly for enterprise, or are these products now for SMB, for enterprise, for everybody?
It's for everybody. And one of the things that we've done extremely well, in my opinion, and we're getting huge accolades even in small, medium business for this, is simplicity is top of mind. When you think of cloud, it has to be simple. And when you think about these hardware devices, some competitors are using like Microsoft Nooks that have updates that you need to do or security concerns due to the operating system. These were built for that purpose alone. And there's only one thing you need to do. It's take it out of the box and plug it in. That's it. As soon as you plug it
That's
in, it
pretty
offers
easy.
you an 8-digit code, and you plug that 8-digit code into your cloud tenant. And that's it. They're connected. And that's zero trust because the edge device is actually the one that initiated the conversation to the cloud, not the other way around.
So
So
now
it's just,
this all falls under, is it still under SafeQ? SafeQ is the print management platform at Ysoft. That's, you know, the recognizable platform that people have been using for years. And these new services, these new you know, the new hardware, does all this, the Omni Bridge, does that fall under SafeQ, or is this a new area of Ysoft?
well, we dabbled a little bit with trying to create this new area, but remember I was talking about simplicity?
Yeah.
The new area led to confusion. So we've backtracked on that decision somewhat. And now all this technology is under the SafeQ umbrella. So we have our on-premise technology, which is called SafeQ. The cloud technology is SafeQ Breeze and Breeze Pro. And we can get to what those differences are between Breeze and Breeze Pro in a moment. And underneath this Breeze and Breeze Pro, you have these various connection options. You can connect via pure cloud, which we've discussed. You can connect via these edge and virtual appliances, but it's really simple. You know, you pay by the device, and regardless of what connection method you require, you know, it's included.
So moving on to the actual report. So Quocirca did this 2022 cloud print services report. You're not the only ones that are in it. So it's interesting to me that you would make it available, but it's, you know, collectively as an industry, this is one of the leadership things I think that kind of sets Ysoft apart from others, is that, you know, you're gonna point attention to this report, even though it's going to highlight not just you but others. But let's talk about what that report is. What, you know, what does that report mean to our industry? What does it really say about Ysoft? And then you know, how can I'm going to bring up on the screen how, and I'll include a link in our video description of how they can access it. But let's talk about the report and why you're making it available to you know, to people. The excerpt.
Perfect. So the beginning of the report is really the thought leadership of Quocirca themselves. So they've taken their time and they've done their surveys and they've done their investigation and interviews, and they come up with what they believe the key trends and important decision factors are for cloud. And one of the reasons why Ysoft is sharing the report wide is because we believe it's validation for what we've done here. Ysoft has not gone through a simple lift and shift of our on-premise technology and place that technology in the cloud. Through multiple years of development, we've built a true native cloud offering, built with containerization, zero trust as the backbone for what we do. So we're quite proud of what we have to offer. We're not fearful of this report serving our competitors in a way that's more beneficial than it will serve Ysoft. So that is the reason why we're making the extract of this report available free of charge. You click that link, you put in your email address, and that report is immediately delivered to you.
So that's fine. That's even better, right? It's that was a question I was going to ask, but you know, nobody likes to fill out a form and then have somebody contact you, right? So this is just you know, for giving your email address, and that's really not that much to ask. You get a nice excerpt and a big description about the report. Really good information in there. I know Quocirca, like we mentioned earlier, is very well known for managed print services. They've been surveying that for years. They're very well known in Europe, but you know, when it comes to MPS, their reports do kind of trickle over to here as well. So they're the leader when it comes to that, and for you to be recognized by them, I think that says a lot about your efforts and what's going on, you know, with Ysoft. Going forward, I know we're going to talk a little bit down the road. You and I, in another interview, you got some certification. Maybe we could tease that a little bit. You got some ISO certification, and Tell us, is there anything just briefly you can share with that without getting too into that before we wrap up? I know that's very exciting news for you guys, and I look forward to chatting with you more about that.
Sure. So one of the things that you'll find with the cloud, and I'm sure this is mainstay, is as people migrate to the cloud, security becomes top of mind. So with the offerings that we provided with SafeQ Breeze and Breeze Pro, SafeQ Breeze is our shared infrastructure. So these are customers that don't mind being multi-tenant. However, within that shared infrastructure, we're using containerization. So their data is entirely isolated from customer A versus customer B. But for those customers that have higher or tighter security requirements, we have SafeQ Breeze Pro, which is reserved infrastructure. Takes all that same infrastructure, but it's reserved for you. There's no shared application or services at all. Now, even with that separation between Breeze and Breeze Pro, some customers just simply want the proof that your product is secure as you say it is, and the architecture you built and selected is correct for them. So typically there's companies that want proof. One of those sets of proof might be to do third-party testing. So black box testing through a third-party certification lab. We will be doing that. In fact, I've already started to do that. And the other part of their security concern is just prove to me that your organization is built around secure processes. And for that, we've gone to ISO 27K or 27001 more specifically. And that certification we were just awarded, which we're quite proud of. It's a multi-year effort once again, but it just proves that the processes that we're following are robust, built with security practice in mind. And on top of that, we're doing a security and penetration testing from these third-party labs that will prove the technology and architecture is sound as well.
Very exciting. So I think we're gonna talk about that in July, and then on a future show, we're gonna spend a little more time and dig a little deeper into that. So very exciting for you. But this, recognition from Quocirca, congratulations on that. Congrats on the ISO certification. And any last shout outs before we wrap up?
No, I think we're going to have a banner year at Wysoft this year. I'll tease this now, but come fourth quarter of this year, we're going to make some significant introductions for a new product. Now, one of the things that you need to recognize with cloud is you don't get these major drops of releases anymore, like SafeQ 5 to SafeQ 6. With cloud, you have the benefit of CI/CD, which is continuous integration and continuous deployment. But we do at the marketing level, where I sit, tend to pull these innovations up to where we still can make a big bang on the street. So come fourth quarter of this year, you'll start to see some major development on top of SafeQ Breeze and Breeze Pro. And we think it'll fit the lion's share of the market from a workflow and scanning capability requirement.
Very exciting. Well, I look forward to that. And thanks so much for taking the time. And at some point, maybe we should do a live one, realizing that you're so close. I had no idea, you sit here and email back and forth, and lo and behold, you're probably 10 minutes from me. So
that is true.
This was great. This was a treat. Thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us about the recognition you received, and say hello to all our friends back at Wysoft. And we will catch up with you soon on one of our next shows. Actually, we do have it. We're in the process of scheduling that now. So we'll talk to you about the ISO soon, and take care. Good talking to you. Thanks, Anthony.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.